I'm Dr. Hayslett, and I'm here to talk to you about the 11-12 audition for MTSU for Midstate. The scales are pretty well defined. Be sure you are doing that bowing where you're slurring the second and third notes of each octave. As for fingerings for 3-octave scales, I recommend doing the notes in 3-note positions. What I mean by that, let's say we take E flat, for instance. I'm going to play 1, 2, 4 for as many times as I can for the first 2 octaves. So it's going to be 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, and this is the last one of the second octave. It will be 1, 3, 4. Now, my next fingering is going to be 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. You can use that fingering for every single scale. You can even use it for G major and any of the other keys that we might stay in first position and then go up the string. But that fingering where the 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4 for the first 2 octaves, then 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, that will get you through any 3-octave scale. My suggestion is that you aim for metronome on 112 or 120 as you do this for the quarter note. You then should take the metronome and cut it by half. So if you're working on quarter note equals 120, then set it as half note equals 60. So instead of going click, 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 then it will go click, click, click. And that's a great way to be sure that we are maintaining tempo by gradually removing the metronome. Drones are another great way of practicing these scales. Just search up cello drones followed by the note. So if you're working on D flat major, cello drones D flat, search that on YouTube, and you will get a 3 to 4 minute clip of a drone that you can practice with. On to the excerpt. It is rather quick. I'm going to suggest a different fingering than what is written, and you'll see it up here on the screen. Feel free to pause here and take or leave any of these suggestions. A lot of it just helps us get around the instrument a little more efficiently than some of the things that are marked in. For the bow stroke, we either have an 8th note with a dot, or we have 2 slurred 16ths. Or we have the very last note, which is a whole note. But other than that note, we want to be sure that we're being consistent. The bow should not stay on the string. This is not a bow stroke of... We do want it to bounce, but we want it to bounce of its own accord. We don't want to be physically holding the bow and going down and up and down and up. So... what I'm doing is I am about ½ an inch above the string, and I'm going to release the weight, essentially. Release the weight from my pinky, and then the bow will bounce as long as I am at or slightly above the balance point. If you're doing it right at the frog, we're going to be doing everything with our arm. When you're practicing it under tempo, this bow stroke is not going to work. This bow stroke only works at tempo. So I would get used to doing this bow stroke on open strings. And then I would take it into adding the 2 slurred 16th notes. So most of this, except for just a couple measures, is going to be 8th, 2/16, 8th, 8th. And then that pattern repeats. So that's our pattern. 8th, 16th, 16th, 8th. I'm not going to try and say it. I can't talk that fast. But at least I tried. So practicing that on open D, practice it on open G, practice it on whatever you want. But get that in your arm. Then take it to the actual strings that are on the page. So in measure 1, if I play it but without my left hand, I have on the first notes on the C string. So I'm going to go C, the 2/16 notes are D string, and then I have 2 8th notes on the D string. C sharp will be on the G string, and then in my fingering I do the 2/16 on the D, and then 2 8ths on the D. So all together we have. So you can do that for any of the measures where you play the open strings with the bowing and the articulation, but you don't use the left hand. That becomes particularly useful in measure 5. Instead of doing all of that with your left hand, which there's a way to practice that. But in this case, that is something that you can work on to be sure that you are adequately using your fingers and the rest of your arm, but that you're leading this string crossing with your fingers. So to play on the lower strings, I'm going to engage my pinky a little bit. And then in order to play on the A string, I'm going to release my pinky, which is going to help the bow move this way. And then my arm is going to accentuate that. And I can get between the A and the C string relatively easy. Well, okay, easy might not be the word that I would use, but efficiently perhaps by engaging that. Now with your left hand, you really need to be sure that you are shifting quickly. That is how I would work on that line in particular. All of it just to be sure that your left hand is ready early. And you have the time for your left hand to be ready early because your bow is playing short 8th notes. So be sure that your shifts are efficient. And when I say efficient, I mean I'm going directly to the note. I'm not going to find when I get there. I'm going from here and then I land. So how I would practice this. And I'm going to go, I'm going to pause, I'm going to see where I am. I'm not going to move, right? So I play this note and then I stop. And then I check it. So for instance, I'm sharp. And I knew that because I've been playing cello for a couple of years. But I wanted to illustrate, when it's sharp, I'm not going to immediately fix it. Because if I immediately fix it, then my hand is never going to learn where that note is. So I'm going to play this. I'm going to go. I'm going to predict. Maybe I'm pretty close to in tune. Maybe a little bit sharp. And yes, I'm pretty close to in tune, but a little bit sharp. So I'm going to do this again. I'm not going to go as far. There we go. And by practicing your shifting this way, then you're going to get out of the habit of that. All of those little motions, I don't have time for that. This excerpt is quite fast. It moves at a fast clip. So in lieu of doing that, I'm going to practice my shifts going directly, stopping, predicting, testing. Do it again with the correction. Okay, it was sharp. I'm not going to go as far. Execute. Move there, right? Predict, test, make the evaluation. Then you repeat the process. Get there, etc., etc. And the more you do that, then the more you'll be able to shift directly to those notes. Be wary of your dynamics. We start mezzo piano. We have a big drop to mezzo piano in measure 7. That is a subito mezzo piano, so be sure that you are careful with that. And then the last note is a whole note. That is 4 entire beats of whatever tempo you slowed down to, not 4 beats of the original tempo. So you have to be sure as soon as you hit that D that you drop the tip of your bow to traverse down near the bridge and sit there. Otherwise, you're going to run out of bow and you're going to run out of sound. And we don't need to decrescendo that. I could just keep holding it if I wanted to. And that's all because I'm getting near that bridge, that low contact point, where I can just sit and sync and have a wide, big sound, but still have enough bow to last for the entire whole note. If you have any questions about any of this, if you have any concerns, don't hesitate to reach out to me at my email address, brian.hayslett@mtsu.edu. And otherwise, good luck on your audition and happy practicing.